With Valentine's Day right around the corner, I wanted to give you some fun and feisty ways to not only celebrate your unique relationship or power exchange dynamic, but infuse creativity, exploration, and intimacy into your sexy time like never before. So stay tuned today as I share 6 of my favorite bedroom games for couples. Now, the topic of couples games has come up in my mentor sessions a few times lately, even with the kinky couples I work with. They love each other, they're very open-minded, and even consider themselves part of the BDSM lifestyle. But they're stuck in a rut. They're avoiding sexual expression because of performance anxieties. They're withholding intimate connection for fear of rejection. Things are great once they come together, but it's getting that far that's the problem. They're in their heads, awkward, unsure how to come together in a mutually pleasurable way. Maybe you and your partner have found yourselves there too. So one tool I recommend with great success as a step to remedy this issue is couples games, because they take the pressure off of both parties. You can explore and be curious and try new things without the vulnerability of claiming them as your own desires. The games can also serve as your guide so neither partner feels all of the pressure to initiate intimacy or to fix any sexual connection. The focus is on connection and pleasure, not performance, and that's where the magic happens. So let's jump into our first couples games. The Big O. Now, what I love about the Big O board game is the emphasis on the energetic buildup. The game is structured with 3 rings that increase the intensity of both the question and action cards as you play each round, starting off light and flirty, then a bit more sensual, and ending with steamy actions and erotically insightful conversation. Now, there is more emphasis on physical intimacy than emotional, so I will give this one 3 out of 5 hearts for an intimacy rating. This game is also comprised mostly of physical acts, but each round gradually builds the intensity, which is great for arousal. So I'll rate this one at a 4 out of 5 for arousal. And as far as kinky ratings go, there are a few mild elements of kink like food play, temperature play, and light bondage. The game even includes a silk blindfold and feathered tickler. So I give this one 2 out of 5 handcuffs on the kinky scale, as this one would be a great way to introduce BDSM, but seasoned sadists and hardcore masochists will likely opt for another option. The next couples game is called Intimacy, which is also the primary objective because this game fosters a ton of intimate conversations. There are essentially 7 categories of questions and actions, and players take turns moving through the board and landing on one of the 7 themed spots. The other player then picks up one of 2 corresponding category cards and chooses either a question or action for their partner to perform. Now, on each of the 14 question and action cards, every other number is a question, which means that with every move, there is a 50% likelihood of conversation. That's a lot of talking and a lot of opportunities for deep, intimate conversation. So this one definitely gets 5 out of 5 hearts. The level of arousal you will experience in this game is entirely dependent upon if your partner chooses a question or action card for you. So if you and your partner want more action over talking or vice versa, you can strategize accordingly. So I'll give this one a 3 out of 5 on the arousal rating. Now, surprisingly, there are quite a few kinky elements in this game, including foot worship, light bondage, spanking, and more. Additionally, there are mild kinky elements in almost every category, plus 40 fantasy question and actions that are all essentially roleplay. So this one gets 3 out of 5 handcuffs. Our next game is Sex Mogul, and this is a fun one, especially if you're into voyeurism, exhibitionism, roleplay, and not afraid to do a few sexy stripteases for your partner. Players take turns moving up the board with chances to earn money on every space. The player with the most money at the end wins whatever fantasy they can afford. So I definitely would not recommend this one for two very shy vanilla partners just starting out. This one is a great intimacy builder, however, if you're willing to let loose, have fun, and play out some fun scenarios. So I'd rate this one at a 2 out of 5 hearts for intimacy. Now this one starts off hot and heavy and is designed to build arousal rather quickly as you move through the board. So I'd give this one a 5 out of 5 arousal rating for sure. And this game is definitely kink friendly and features many sexy roleplay scenarios, as well as opportunities for bondage, sensory play, anal play, etc. So this one gets 4 out of 5 handcuffs. We're now onto a game called Monogamy, which is structured in the same way as the Big O, where the actions build in intensity as you circle the board. Each square has a symbol which directs you to a particular action, like kissing, massaging, or even just taking a short break to grab a drink. There are also 6 monogamy squares with very detailed instruction cards that guide you through a provided action or fantasy. Although the game allows for an energetic build and there are opportunities for intimate discussion, there is more emphasis on erotic conversation and physical arousal. So I'll rate this one out of 3 of 5. Now for arousal, this game has a great way of taking the pressure off of both players and allowing you to become physically present before initiating sexual action. So I would give this game a 4 out of 5 on the arousal scale. And although there are mild elements of kink, such as bondage, sensory play, and role play opportunities throughout, a passionately intimate encounter is the goal of this game, not necessarily kink. So this one gets a 2 out of 5. The next game on our list is a card game that packs a punch. 50 Positions of Bondage is geared toward open-minded couples who want to take their bondage game to the next level with a build-your-own fantasy adventure. The game includes 5 levels of cards indicated with different colors. Players take turns creating their own fantasy based on the images and descriptions on the cards. The winner is the player who holds one card of each color for a full fantasy the couple then acts out together. Now, the goal of this game is not emotional or conversational intimacy. Rather, it's a sexy way to connect as you build a fantasy together. So I would give this one just 1 heart on our intimacy scale. But a large point of arousal in this game is thinking through each act and building a bondage scene from start to finish. So the anticipatory energy created is definitely a draw to this game, which I would rank at a 3 for arousal for that reason. Now, as far as kink goes, there are collars and leashes and rope and gags and floggers and paddles and more featured in this game. It's all about the kink, so this one definitely gets 5 out of 5 handcuffs. All right, we have made it to our final game, which is called Nookii, which even comes included with a do not disturb sign for your door. The premise of Nookii is pretty simple, but I love how it was executed. Essentially, each partner has 3 sets of cards that build intensity. Oh, and ah. Players take turns randomly choosing a card from each level and performing the provided scene according to the length of time on the die. Now, the intimacy in this game is built through the very well articulated instructions provided on each card, which guide the players through a script and actions in a non-threatening way. Because there's more focus on physical arousal than emotional or conversational intimacy, and your words and actions are chosen for you, I give this one a 2 of 5 on the intimacy scale. Just as Monogamy and the Big O, Nookii fosters a gradual increase in sexual energy and intensity, producing desire and allowing arousal to build almost instantly. So I rate this at a 4 out of 5 on the arousal scale. Now, this game has an intense focus on erotic energy exchange with many tantric elements, breathwork, etc. So although intense and erotic, this game is not overtly kinky. So I'll rate it at a 2 out of 5 on the scale. And as a bonus, I have created an exclusive resource just for my patrons. If you're stuck at home due to local restrictions or inclement weather, you can always bring the romance to you with my Red Room Hotel and Spa Kit on Patreon. Turn your home into a luxurious getaway with lots of kinky fun, with nothing more than a few simple items and your creativity. And as my Valentine's Day present to you, I have made this exclusive content available to all patron tiers. So go over to patreon.com/LXerotica and sign up at any tier to get instant access to your kinky staycation plans. And if you found this content helpful, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click that notification bell so you'll never miss a post, and comment below with any questions you would like me to answer in an upcoming video.